Okay, next person to come up on stage is a very good friend, a roommate of mine, actually, once at Cisco Live for like 2 nights. I'd like to introduce from Ekahau, Mikko Laronen. Apparently I messed up his name. Whatever, Mikko, I don't even care. I probably should have given you some more time, huh? Hashtag blame Joel.
Okay, what does it look like?
And hopefully we already started the timer, right?
Of course we do.
Yes, good, perfect.
I don't see it on my tablet.
What's that? He'll be finished in time. Shh, that's worse than my potato jokes.
That was 1 out of 5.
Nope, we're good.
All right, looking good. All right, moi, miten menee? How's it going, guys? So I hope you finally learned what that means. So, all right, so I'm Mikko, and I'm running the product management team at Ekahau, and today I'm going to be talking about the site survey accuracy of the Ekahau Sidekick. But first, couple of things about the Sidekick for those who don't know what the Sidekick is about. So the Ekahau Sidekick is a purpose-built Wi-Fi site survey and spectrum analysis device. It's battery-powered and provides 8 hours of battery life, works with Windows, macOS, and iOS devices. The Ekahau Sidekick has 2 enterprise-grade access point radios inside and has 7 factory-tuned and tested antennas all around the device to to provide very precise and consistent measurement accuracy. So really quickly about why accuracy matters. So the purpose of the site survey is not just to paint the map green, but also to validate that does your design actually meet your requirements, or do you have potentially some poor coverage areas here and there, or perhaps high CCI. Now, if your site survey device is not accurate enough, how do you actually know that your network performs exactly like you designed it to work? So, for example, is this the reality that you see in the picture, that you have some poor coverage areas here and there? And is there something you should do about that? Or is this perhaps the situation? So maybe during the site survey, you were actually just lucky and you had the adapters optimally oriented towards the APs and always picked up the best signal. But in reality, the situation is much worse. There's lots of bad coverage areas, and your clients will be suffering from network connectivity issues and performance issues. Or maybe during the site survey, you were actually really unlucky, and you had the adapter pointing out the incorrect way and always picked the worst signal. And in reality, the situation is a lot better. But what you end up doing is you redesigning the network for no reason. So we want to understand that how accurate the Ekahau Sidekick is. So we went to an actual RF lab. The RF lab was completely anechoic and isolated without any interfering or movie-path signals. We used the Cisco AP3800 and also Wi-Fi signal generator, and so that we were able to know the absolute ERP, and therefore we were able to calculate the theoretical reference signal strength value at the measuring device. Then naturally we also tested the Sidekick in practically in all possible angles, so that to simulate that during the site surveys the signal could be coming from any possible direction. So what we found out that the Ekahau Sidekick actually measures the reality very accurately. It provides very high trueness and also high precise measurements. What we can see here is that there's small deviation between the theoretical reference value, which is in the picture is represented with the black dotted line across all the channels. Then the blue graph over there represents the media measurements. So the small deviation between the theoretical reference values and also the measurements. So therefore, we can say that the Ekahau Sidekick provides high trueness values measurements. Then also talking about the individual measurements. So the individual measurements are represented with the small black dots over there. And we can see that there's small variance between the individual measurements and the median measurements. And because of that, we can say that the Sidekick is also very precise. And together when the Sidekick when the Sidekick measurements are both high trueness and high precision measurements, we can say that Ekahau Sidekick is very, very accurate. Then we also did the same measurements also for the NIC 300 and SA1 adapters. And the graph kind of represents how precise the measurements with the USB-based adapters are. This graph is for the NIC 300 adapter, but the SA1 adapter looks pretty much the same. And unfortunately, we can see that the measurements are all over the place. But here, again, we need to remember that we rotated the measuring device all around in all possible angles. And surprisingly, the adapter picked up the worst signals when the signal was coming through the laptop and the USB port to the antenna. So if you must use a USB adapter for site service, just make sure that you don't put it on the side of the laptop, rather have it over here on the display. So all systematic or random errors lead to uncertainty and easily extra unnecessary margin in your network design. With Ekahau Sidekick, you can fully rely on your survey measurements because of the high precision and trueness. When your design meets the requirements, you can be sure it's accurate. With the NIC 300 and SA1 adapters, there's always some measurement deviation, and you cannot be 100% sure your design meets the requirements. Or you could be in a situation where your site survey shows you don't meet the requirement when you actually do, and then end up changing the design for no good reason. And as a conclusion, the very fast last slide, sorry about that.
They took your slides away. It's okay, Mikko. Go ahead.
Yes, all right. So as a conclusion, the Ekahau Sidekick is the most accurate site survey device in the market. It provides very precise measurements over all the possible usage angles. And so no matter how you wear the device or which direction the signal is coming from, you know that the measurements are always very accurate. Then compared to theoretical reference values, the Sidekick measurements are very close with only small trueness error. Together with the high precision, this enables survey result offsetting, for example, those a bit less sensitive devices such as smartphones with high reliability. And lastly, the Ekahau Sidekick is also very precise between different Sidekick units. So, for example, when you're working together with a team and all those guys are using Sidekicks, you can be sure that they all provide the same accuracy.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Mikko.
Right.
So I've got a couple questions that have come in. Let's see, the first one, I'm going to let that one wait. Maybe take that one offline. Let's see. One question is, will Ekahau provide decent training online? Is there a new training, but sometimes hard to get travel budget? What's the best way to train up on Ekahau products?
So first of all, there's some Connect training which were done by some
guy.
Joe Grain, I don't know.
Total
so
loser.
Those are
Don't
available
recommend it. Yeah.
online. But then we also have lots of online material at our technical support portal. So ekahau.com/support, you should go there, for example.
Any other questions in the audience before we let Mikko off the stage? All right, very good. Thank you very much, Mikko.
All right, thank you.
All right.